Sitting around the table for dinner is just one way to improve communication among your family. Joining me now is Kate Samela, who is here to show us how to make a delicious chicken dish that will have everyone running towards the table. Kate, this sounds fabulous and easy.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's one of my favorites. I think people around our neighborhood actually talk about Chicken Cutlet Wednesday because you can always find me in the kitchen once school starts making chicken cutlets. My mom has always made them, but I love it. It's such a versatile meal that it can be made with pork cutlets, it can be made with fish. Some people like to do it with turkey, but
oh, sure.
And then you change it up with the flavors you're going to add to it.
Great.
So
well, let's get started.
All right. So what I like to do is just first start cracking my eggs. And these are things too you usually have like right in your house, which is nice too. So you're not worried about
running to the store, right?
Running to the store after work. 3 eggs is probably sufficient. I mean, today we're making just a couple to demo. Scramble up the egg, and you really want to make sure it's blended well so that the yolk sort of transitions the whole color to be yellow.
Okay.
And what I like to do that's a little bit different than other people, it's just an added step. Not 100% necessary, but makes the flavor that much more better. This is just a tablespoon of regular mayonnaise, not non-fat. And then what I also like to do is make sure I scramble that pretty well.
Okay.
In there, and the mayonnaise actually helps the breading stick a little bit better, and it lends a lot of moisture to the chicken when you're cooking it. All right, okay. So that's just about right. And so what I have here, I have a mixture of Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, and I mix it half and half when I get home with whole wheat breadcrumbs. My husband doesn't even really know that, but it adds again.
Why, would he not eat it otherwise?
I don't know. I just don't. It's easier when I don't tell him.
Okay.
And then Parmesan cheese is a signature ingredient in our dish as well.
Okay.
So just making sure that everything is warm enough. What you're doing is you're getting a non-stick saute pan on medium to medium high. Then you can actually turn it down because you don't want the cutlets to burn on the outside because they don't when that
always happens to me.
I know. You do other things, you get a text, before you know it, your stove's on fire.
Okay, let me ask you, why do you think it's so important to have family dinners?
Oh gosh, there's a million reasons, but to me, I think the most important thing is just getting kids back on a schedule and having that time to sit and communicate with one another. It sounds corny, but the reality is that we're so busy and everyone doesn't get a chance to sit down and talk. And statistics show that kids eat better, there's less risk of obesity, and there's also less risk of emotional and substance abuse problems in families that commit to family dinners minimum 4 times a week.
And shut the TV off?
Oh yeah,
recommend?
No phones, no TVs, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing, okay?
Got it.
So what I'm gonna do is take some olive oil, and this is just regular olive oil, not extra virgin. It has a lower, dare I say, smoke point, as not being a chef, but it's true. So it won't steam off and burn the cutlets quicker, so regular olive oil is fine.
Okay.
And you can see it's pretty warm here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it,
Now those are kind of thin. Did you have to pound those or can you buy them?
I cheat. I buy them already cooked.
Okay.
Because if I come home with like a hunkin' cutlet,
it's gonna take forever to cook.
I'm not cutting it. I can't stand it. It drives me crazy. So what I like to do, you want to take cutlets one by one, and you're coating it, and really make sure that the chicken is fully coated. As you can see, it's really, I mean, it doesn't take any time at all. Okay.
Pretty easy.
Pretty easy. And then what you're doing is just making sure you're dredging in the breadcrumb and Parmesan cheese mix till it's perfectly covered, okay?
Got it. Your kids like these?
Love them. It's their favorite. I think this is the meal where I know that when I don't want to deal with dinner, I've had like a long day, and I just don't want to convince them or try something new.
To eat it?
No, this is what I make. So it's once a week for sure in our house. And you can see too, it'll start to sizzle a little bit. In the meantime, what I want to do is just show you too. What I love are I love fresh broccoli for a lot of reasons. It's actually a great source of vitamin A. It's an excellent source of fiber and folic acid, even vitamin K. So while that first one is steaming, what I like to do is just take a regular pot of boiling water. You can see this has come boiling. It's not a lot of water at all.
You're almost going to steam these, right?
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
And it depends on what you like. You know, people in families like it mushy. Some people, I don't forget these, some people like it crunchy, but you can decide what you want to do. In about 5 minutes, you can peek at that and see how green it is.
Great.
So if it turns a little brown, it's mushy. If it's light green and crisp, you're good to go.
Kate, let's talk about your book for a second.
Okay.
Tell us the title of and what we could find.
The book is called Give Peas a Chance.
Okay.
It's called The Foolproof Guide to Feeding Your Picky Toddler. This recipe is actually one of the recipes in the book. I wrote the book because I feel like there's so much information out there for parents that talks about nutritious foods, but what I really wanted to focus on was helping toddlers learn to eat adult foods and kind of get rid of the kiddie type foods that we find so familiar. Even this example, chicken nuggets, you can sort of in your mind say, well, it could be kind of cut up like a chicken nugget. There's
Sure,
breading.
you could dip, right?
Dip, protein, the whole thing, but it's better because it's made from scratch. It's made with natural fats, which is a big problem with processed food. There's lots of hydrogenated oils and things that are not so good for us. And salt, too much sodium in processed foods. So I talked a lot about that, and it talks about the developmental stages of kids and why they choose to refuse certain foods and what parents can do to really help them develop a palate for eating healthy for a lifetime.
Great. We have about 30 seconds left.
Okay.
And I noticed a baked potato. Sometimes a baked potato gets a bad rap.
I know. The sweet potato is taken front stage. I love the white potato. It's high in potassium. The skin is an excellent source of fiber, and it's easy to cook in the microwave, like you were saying, with the ones you buy pre-wrapped.
Already wrapped. It takes less than 5 minutes.
If you get home early, it's 45 minutes in the oven at 400 degrees. It's a great complex carbohydrate to add to any dinner to balance it out for good carbs.
And it tastes great with sour cream.
Delicious.
All right, Kate, we're going to dig in at the end of the show. Thank you so much for the recipe.
Thanks, Teresa.
All right, coming up next, we're going to head over to Stage 8. National recording artists Lucinda Rowe and Michael Connolly are going to perform when we get back.